What are the chances that they wore the same shoe size in high school? And Jalen Brunson, I think Kobe would be proud of the numbers that he is putting up and the winning that the Knicks are doing here in the postseason. Because Brunson's just the third player in NBA history in the playoffs to average 25 points, 5 assists over an 11-game streak. And he fittingly joins, yes, 2017 Steph Curry, but also Kobe Bryant in 2001. And Brunson, he spoke today on what he's focused on with all this time off between now and the NBA Finals.
Obviously, just being ready to go by the time game one hits. Just comparing our situation from last time, being mentally and physically locked in. And I think that's really important for us, and that's what we have to focus on these next couple days.
Thanks, Jalen.
Whose phone is this?
I don't know. Who we got?
I'm not gonna say anything. But you have a very funny group chat. That's why I asked you what your question was.
Read them. Tell us what's in the group chat. Just kidding. Jalen Brunson's a real one, and we got a real one joining us now, Monica McNutt. Monica, thank you so much for the time. There is no one who knows these New York Knicks better than you, and we know that New York has quite some time off here between now and the NBA Finals. And Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, they both talked about how focused they want to be here. What's Jalen Brunson, his impact in particular, been on this group?
Man, first of all, Malika, that was great reporting on your part on the sneakers. This team is not here without Jalen Brunson. He is the cornerstone of what the Knicks have been able to build about bringing them back to the NBA Finals. He is the guy who is best equipped to shapeshift in terms of what this team needs. You know, in previous seasons, the last two, he was far more ball dominant. This year, he's off the ball a bit more. In particular, highlighted in this postseason run. But when things got tight in that Eastern Conference Game 1, it sure did shift to the old offense out of necessity. And Jalen Brunson was the delightful closer that he has come to be loved by New York.
Yeah, absolutely. But if Jalen Brunson is the cornerstone, as you put it, then Karl-Anthony Towns has to be the bedrock, right, of this team. Yeah. He's become so important to this group. I know you mentioned going back to the old offense, which of course is centered around Jalen Brunson, but Karl-Anthony Towns unlocked so much for this group. How has he been the difference maker?
Well, his ability, Malika, earlier this season, he really talked about wanting to be more involved. He and Mike Brown had to have a little bit of a meeting of the minds, which I think is totally healthy. And being involved was not about scoring. It was about being involved. And we saw him put up fantastic numbers in terms of his assist marks, his rebounding this year, being one of the league leaders in double-doubles. But in this postseason in particular, he has just added a level of efficiency and aggressiveness that is impressive. And for him, staying out of foul trouble is so important to his ability to be a monster contributor in terms of what the Knicks do.
And if it is Oklahoma City that they are facing in the postseason, that is going to become all the more important here for Karl-Anthony Towns. Monica, there's no one better. Thank you so much for stopping by NBA Today. We're going to be seeing a whole lot of you in New York City very, very soon here. As for their next opponent, though, I said maybe it could be Oklahoma City. It could, right? The Knicks did win 2 out of the 3 against the Spurs, though, in the regular season. That includes the in-season tournament. Less luck against Oklahoma City, however. Their offense just sputtered, and that's what Monica is talking about. That important. See the current draft lottery process. Shams Charania is here with more. Shams, I understand that the Board of Governors meeting, it just wrapped up. What exactly did they decide on how the draft lottery is going to look moving forward?
Malika, sources tell me that the NBA's Board of Governors has voted and approved new anti-tanking rule changes, draft reform moving forward, starting in the 2027 NBA draft. The draft lottery will now move from 14 teams to 16 teams. Overall, there will be flattened odds, but most importantly, the bottom 3 teams will be punished with lessened odds moving forward for the #1 overall pick. It's called the 3-2-1 lottery reform because now if you're a bottom 3 team, you will actually be penalized with lesser lottery balls, as in 2, than other potential teams that are slotted 4 through 10. I'm told the vote passed 29-1. The Memphis Grizzlies were the lone team to vote against, and that's because they have the Utah Jazz pick next year that now, because of the new rule, which has a couple stipulations, one being you can't pick #1 in back-to-back years. The second stipulation is you can't have a top 5 pick in 3 consecutive years. So that Jazz pick now will not be able to be a top 5 pick. The Grizzlies are receiving the bad end of an unintended consequence from what is now for the NBA a radical response to radical behavior. The NBA felt that there were nearly 8 to 10 teams jockeying for lottery odds down the stretch of this season. And the goal from the relegation zone is right now to try to get those bottom 3 teams to compete to stay out of that area and have more lottery balls, and for teams that are slotted 4 through 10 to not be in that relegation zone because you don't want to be there because you have lessened odds. So trying to incentivize winning, and this comes after months and months of conversations, debate, brainstorm. And Malika, one more point to add. With this vote, the Board of Governors have now given Adam Silver increased disciplinary authority to implement a wide range of action depending on tanking violations moving forward. Fines up to $10 million. He can take draft picks away. He can also have teams forfeit their picks. He can change picks. He can change odds. So this now gives Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, increased authority.
Wow. All right. So really bringing the hammer down on tanking. That is the idea behind this new policy, Shams, that the Board of Governors just voted to pass. Not unanimously, but voted to pass. Thank you very much for that insight. I do want to bring Brian Windhurst into this discussion. Brian, Shams does such an excellent job at explaining something that I think is very complicated. And yet, sometimes NBA fans talking to folks, their eyes glaze over a little bit at this new tanking policy because it is incredibly complicated. So can you just distill down what is the most important thing to take away from today's vote?
Yeah, it used to be if you were a bottom 3 team and or 4 team, and boy, did teams really try to get in that bottom 4, you had the best chances. And now they're just making it very hard for you to win the top pick. So under the current system, which we just had, if you were in that top 4, you all had a 14% chance of winning that number 1 pick, and obviously a really good chance of being in that top 3. Now, if you've got one of the worst records, your chances of getting a top pick have been slashed. You have a much better chance of falling into the 6 through 12 range, and you could fall all the way to 12th, Malika. You could have the worst record in the league and end up with the 12th pick, and there's a reasonable chance you're going to be back there. So they want teams not tanking to get into the bottom 3. They want teams fighting to the finish to get out of the top 3. And look, they understand that this is a triage situation. This is a bleeding wound. And the reason we know that is part of this is that they're only planning to do this for 3 years. This is a 3-year window. Now, they may extend it, but they've already got what they call a sunset provision in there. The sun's already coming down. We're already past noon. 3 more years, and they may take this away. But I also think something's interesting is that the lottery will no longer be numbers anymore. It will literally be balls with the team's logo on them. And I suspect that the NBA will do it live. That they will watch, and all the fans will see the balls come out with the team. It won't be an hour later or whatever, which breaks my heart because I love that intrigue. But those will be the differences that we will see coming out.
But you're right. Having this in place for 3 years is the NBA saying this is an acute problem. We need to deal with it now. We know that this may be a slight overreaction, but that is how egregious we see these tanking violations as. All right, we'll have draft. You know it. There's going to be plenty of debate between now and then over the next 4 weeks about how the top of the draft is going to look. But as of right now, our draft guru, Jeremy Woo, he is the Wizards taking AJ DeBonsa with that top overall pick. But this draft, it's so much deeper, than just the top 5. Yesterday, the field of draft prospects, it crystallized a little bit more because the NBA draft withdrawal deadline, it hit at mid-length. So projected first-round picks, Christian Anderson, Alan Graves, Koa Pete, they actually all decided to stay in the draft, but several top 40 players, including Andrei Stojakovic, will be returning to college here. And you can see other top prospects in the transfer portal waiting for decisions to be made here, which brings us to some breaking news.